Okay, here we are. We have some leftover pulp. We're gonna make a dough and we're gonna incorporate this in our dough, but it's gonna be such a delicious dough that no waste. That's what's important. And as long as your food is good, that's what's important, right? Okay, so we're gonna start off with this pulp, and I am going to only use half of it. Or can I? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna use all of it. Why not? Go for it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to use all of it. Why not? Okay, and this is the pulp that there's going to be a milk video that I already put up for you, and that's the pulp that I'm using, the full amount. Okay, I'm going to use some of my sourdough. I just want to show you. Look at that. Look at this sourdough. I make mine thicker now. I really enjoy it thicker. Let me put this in front here. So I'm going to use 1, 2, maybe 3. Here we go. 3 nice scoops of sourdough. And if you're using it, if yours is not as thick, as long as you put some in, it doesn't matter. This gives that dough a nice sour taste. So I'm going to put this aside because I need to feed it. Keep that sourdough going. Okay, I am going to add some flour to this. Okay, that's 1. That's 2 cups of flour. Because it has all that pulp, it's gonna probably struggle to rise a little. So I am gonna use about, let's say, about a tablespoon of magic powder. Salt, I put about maybe 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of salt. Okay, I'm using a warmish water, and we want this dough to be a soft dough. So we don't want this to be a very stiff dough. Now, I'm not even giving you measurements because I want you to experiment soft dough. Okay, maybe I got carried away with the water over here, so we'll put a little extra flour. Okay, now if you're worried that this is not going to rise for you, you could put just a sprinkle of yeast. I'm going to show you what I mean by a sprinkle. This is quick rising yeast. I didn't put a lot, maybe a teaspoon of yeast. You don't have to, but you can use it. It's going to help you with the dough rising. Because we put the sourdough, that's just going to help it boost it up really quickly for you. Now, because of the pulp, it's going to be a dough that has a little more density to it, but it's still going to be a very delicious. And here we go. My hands are clean. Okay, I just want you to see how soft this dough is. For now, we're just going to let it sit. I'm just going to sprinkle some flour on top. But you saw that it's a very soft dough. Look how soft that is. It's not a dense dough, because we're going to be able to spread this very easily later. So we're just going to let it sit for now, and then we're going to come back in a little bit, and we're going to put it onto a floured counter, and we're going to lightly knead it and let it rise a little. But you do have baking soda here, which is going to help it get nice and airy for you anyhow. And if we need a little extra flour, we're going to put it in. But just to show you that you could actually put that pulp in so many of your dishes, and you don't have to waste your pulp and throw it away. There's nothing like throwing away food. This is food that still has lots of fiber in it. It still has lots of benefits that nuts have, and the oats, of course. It's got protein in it. So it's just an added benefit to your dough. Now, if you want at this point, you could also sprinkle some flax seeds, ground flax seeds, not the seed itself. You want it ground, and that's going to also add some omega. I might do that right now. This is milled flaxseed. And you're saying, why didn't you mix it in? Well, I'm just going to give it a quick mix. And how much you put of this is really up to you. This is, like I said, it's a benefit because you're adding omega to your dough. It's not just an empty bread dough. It's going to be a dough that has a lot of good stuff for you. Okay. There we go. And like I said, you know, if you want to add something else, you could add herbs in this, and it's just going to add flavor to your dough. But this whole recipe is to show you that you can use almond pulp or milk pulp in a lot of recipes. And someone says, well, I don't usually make milk, but I have a lot of juice pulp. Well, you know what? You could incorporate some of those pulps in your too. If it's a vegetable juice, why not? Just put a little bit at a time. You don't want to just overload it in vegetable pulp, but you can maybe make little baggies of it, freeze it, and when you need it, you just pull out a little baggie, defrost it, throw it in your whatever you're making, and you could incorporate it that way. You could put milk pulp in anything you create, really. Right now, it's a very soft dough, but that's what I want, guys. And then we'll add flour later on. So, I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, I need my flour. Okay, I'm just going to put a little olive oil just to loosen it up a little. And it's also good to either grease your hands or use just a little bit of water. And you're just going to detach it. There we go. We're going to just sprinkle some flour. Now, like I said, everything is done freehand. There is really no measurements over here. You have to learn how to... There we go. You have to learn your dough, guys. Now, like I said before, this dough is not going to be as fluffy, but you're still going to have a beautiful tasting dough. Oh my God. I wish you were here to taste it. Okay. So, notice how easy that was to take that off. And now slowly we're going to massage it in. Very lightly because it is a very soft dough. Okay. Just a little. Oh. Okay. We're just going to massage it just a little. And this is using all that delicious pulp. See, the dough is soft. You see how soft that is? And remember, if you make a mistake and you say, oh, I put too much water, that's okay. Just put a little extra flour. You're just going to get a little extra dough. Can't go wrong with that. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to gather it, sprinkle more flour. Okay, a little extra flour. And you're just going to put that on top. A little flour on top. Around this to expand a little. And we're just going to cover this. And we're just going to let it rise. Now, because it's a very soft dough, it doesn't even have to like super rise on you. You're still able to use this beautiful dough to make pizza. Or whatever. You can make naan bread. That's really up to you. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention. If If you don't have any sourdough starter, that's okay too. Just use the recommended yeast you would. Use your dough recipe that you normally use. And before you add your wet ingredients, put in your milk pulp. And then as you're mixing your dough, you'll see, do you need a little extra water? Always a little warm water, guys, right? Do you need, you see what I forgot? I forgot to put my maple in there. That's okay. It's going to be good anyhow. But when you're mixing your dough, you'll see, because you're adding now that pulp, you're going to see if you need to use extra flour or extra water, probably extra water for sure, and just play with your dough that way. But that's just a great way to incorporate your milk pulp in other recipes besides the one that I showed you with the scones. You could actually put it in so many recipes of yours. So like I said, if you don't have any sourdough starter, just use your quick rise yeast or whatever yeast you use to make pizza and work from that. Have a basic pizza recipe, and then before you mix everything together, before you put the liquids, make sure you put your pulp in there first. Just easier that way. Don't forget the magic powder. That just helps the dough get a little fluffier on you. It's just a little extra to put in. You don't have to, but you need to be a little more patient because the dough will be a heavier dough. That's why I make mine very light. I don't make it too dense with the flour because it's just going to sit there. It's not going to do anything for you. And remember, because it's so light, it's easier to spread also. It's going to be a very delicious pizza dough. Trust me, pizza dough, naan bread is just very, very delicious. And we waste nothing, guys. Nothing's going to go in the garbage. So I'm just going to cover it and let it do its magic. And I'll see you a little later. And we'll throw together a little pizza, guys. We're back. As you can see, it's not going to rise like a normal dough. You won't get that big fluffy, but because it's such a tender dough, this is going to be perfect to make pizza for my husband. Okay, we're going to make a smallish one. I'm going to push that aside, and this will be for my husband. Okay, just gonna push that aside for now. I just want to put a sheet of paper here so my tray doesn't get dusty. Okay, my pizza tray, I never wash my pizza tray. It comes out, the best trays are the ones that you season. This is only for pizza. If I'm going to cook anything else on top of this, make sure there's like parchment paper. If I'm making cookies, it goes on parchment paper. The only time it goes bare is if I'm making pizza, and I'm using just a aluminum tray. And we're just going to give it a good greasing. Take our dough and put that on top, and we're just going to spread it. Notice how easy it spreads because it's not like a very stiff dough. And you could always grease it a little. Just push it. This is going to be a thick dough. I could have used less, but it's still going to work. Now you can leave it here and let it rise just a little more. Or at this point, you could actually just put it in the oven once you started to dress it. I will just let it sit a little. And then give it another little stretch. But very easy to do, guys. And what did we do? We incorporated that pulp, and it's going to be fantastic fiber for our body. There we go. So I'm just going to cover this again, and then I'm going to dress it up with just onions, sliced tomatoes, He doesn't even need cheese on his pizza. My husband's happy with just pizza with no cheese. Maybe I'll put some of my grated cheese. Okay, perfect. Isn't that beautiful? There's a whole pizza, nice and stretched. We're just gonna let it sit a little longer. Okay, cover it up here. Actually, I'm gonna let me cover this up first. And I'm gonna get another one for this. Okay. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna see you in a little bit. Okay guys, I just want to show you. Let me just move this over. Whoop. Okay, so remember I told you that we buy mushrooms. So this is like a 15-inch by 5 inches high, 15 inches long, and it is about 6.5 wide. I'm going to show you what it looks like inside. And I paid $35 for 2 boxes of, look at all these beautiful oyster mushrooms, guys. So you can ask your local grocery store when they go to the market or wherever they go to buy their produce to bring to their store. You could ask them to get you some delicious oyster mushrooms, guys. I just want to show you. Oh my God, look at this. I just want to show you the beautifulness. Look how big it is. And you see this part, how clean it is? There's like no debris. I use even this part of the mushroom, not just the oyster. Remember I showed you how to tell an oyster mushroom? Okay, look at this. The gills go all the way down to the stem. You see that? Well, not all the way down. It depends what kind of mushroom. Some of them it does. And you see how the stem is off. It's not in the center. It's right at the edge. How it looks like clam shape. Those are beautiful. Now these are cultivated. They're not wild like the ones that if you go to my other channel you'll see. But you know what? We can get picky. We're gonna get snow soon. Up north it's already snowed. So we're in the city. Snow's not that far away. So if we can't go picking for mushrooms, we either have to grow our own or we have to settle and buy mushrooms from the store. But look how beautiful. Oh my God, can't wait. My husband's gonna get some of these on his pizza tonight. Isn't he a lucky man? Beautiful, beautiful. So remember guys, oh, and by the way, look at the spores. I don't know if you can see it. You see the box inside? You see the white? Those are the spores of the oyster mushrooms. They're already sporing. So sometimes if you look on top of your other mushroom, the one on top laid some spores on top. So if you see a little white dusting, don't think that they've gone bad. They're not. But just wanted to show you, if you can go mushroom hunting, ask your local grocery store to pick up mushrooms for you. All right. So I'll see you in a bit because it's still rising. By the way, $35 was for 2 of those boxes, not 1. So not bad, not bad. Okay, look how beautiful these are. They're not from my garden. They're done. The ones in my garden, well, they're not all done yet. I still have some in a basket. They're turning red on me. And I've made the beautiful green salsa that you saw me make, the salsa verde. I just bought a new box. How much did we pay the tomatoes, Philip?
Which one?
The big beefsteak.
$15.
Okay, for $15, I bought a huge box of these beautiful, beautiful beefsteak tomatoes. And again, if you're in Montreal, go visit Obut. That's where you're going to get these beautiful tomatoes. If they don't have these, sometimes they have the ones on the vine. But either way, you're going to save money, guys. In a little bit, when you're going to go to the grocery store and buy tomatoes, you're going to get like maybe 3 tomatoes for $10. So for 15, what was it, 15, $18, I got a whole box. Yes, beautiful, beautiful tomatoes. Peppers I still have. They're still starting to get as wrinkled as I am, but they're still good. They're just losing its moisture, but I can still use these. Okay, so I told you my mushrooms are really clean at the bottom. They've been cleaned by the people who pack these. So this part down here is so dense, it actually feels like you're having a piece of meat in your mouth. If you're okay with that, these are my older mushrooms. As you could tell, they're a little more shriveled, but I have to consume them, so it's a great time to put them on pizza. But I keep even that part of the mushroom. If I'm putting it on pizza, I will make it a little more shredded. Even the bottom part. It just has a nice meaty texture to it. These mushroom butts is a good way to get that texture that a lot of people crave. See? And I usually put my mushrooms at the bottom of the pizza. This way they still cook, but they don't dry up too much for him. See how I'm slowly shredding the bottom of this mushroom? Now, if it was dirty, I'd say, well, you know, clean as much as you can off. Then you want to have that cleaned off for sure. But this is all mushroom. Look how beautiful this is. And what I like is that they come in a box. They will dry up on you if you don't get to them fast enough, but they'll never get disgusting on you. If you have them wrapped in cellophane, all mushrooms are going to get gnarly on you. They're going to get soft and they're going to get wet. But because they come in a box, if you don't consume them fast enough, you're going to see they're going to curl into themselves and they will dry up. But that's okay too. If you find your mushrooms dried up completely, because it's happened to me where I've had so many mushrooms that maybe a whole box dried up, that's okay. I just let them continue drying up. And then when I need them, all I do is just soak them in water. If I'm making a soup, I just throw them in dry. And then it's just perfect. Look at that. Perfect meat replacement. And you're getting all kinds of minerals in your diet. Okay, so I'm just going to continue cutting these vegetables. I'm not going to make you sit here and listen to me. But I'll see you when I dress it up. Beautiful. That's what's going on as pizza. And look at this beautiful, beautiful dough, guys. Perfect. I'm not even going to stretch it. It's perfect the way it is. Okay, so I'm going to just give it a light coating of some basil oil. There's my basil. I dip my brush all the way at the bottom where all the basil is, and then I just lightly coat it. Get those edges with some oil. Make them nice and golden. And you don't want to put too much, otherwise it's just going to be a very oily pizza, right? Okay. We're going to start off with our mushrooms. Beautiful. We got all the mushrooms in. Always put them at the bottom. Okay. There we go. We're going to start off with some tomatoes. I pretty much used 1 tomato for this pizza. And that's a pretty big pizza. Okay. When you cut your tomatoes wrong, you put them together and look what you get. You get a slice of tomato. Boom. Together, 1 slice of tomato. You'd never know that there's 2 halves there. Together, we get 1 slice of tomato. Okay, we're going to put a half for there and a half for there. And now we're going to put some peppers. They're shriveled up like me, but they're still good. Just like me. I might be getting old, but I'm still good. Another little mushroom bit. And then our onion rings. Look at that. Isn't she pretty? I love blonde pizzas. I call this blonde pizzas. I don't think I have any olives. Next time we do the olives. Okay. And now, look what I have here. My hot peppers I made. So, these are really, really hot. Not too much because it is, this batch was like crazy hot. Then if he wants more, you could always get more. And now, just a little bit of this beautiful hot pepper oil. Okay, we're gonna crack some pepper. Okay. I'm gonna put some black salt. How beautiful. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Just a little extra herb. Put whatever herbs you like, guys. Okay. And now I'm going to get some of my grated cheese because I don't have any soft cheese. But that'll have to do. Okay. Look at that. Ta-da! Tell me this is not a beautiful pizza, guys. How simple is that? So you see, using some pulp in your dough, if you make your dough nice and soft, it's easy spreadable. You don't have to super, especially if you're going to put a little bit of that baking powder in your dough. It just makes everything just magical. I always say put love, put intention in your food, and it just comes out perfect. This is a perfect dinner, a perfect pizza, and I wasted nothing, guys. I really wasted nothing. So try making some delicious pizza dough, and you're gonna see that you can create anything if you put your mind to it, and you don't have to be afraid about making a recipe. What's the worst thing that can happen? There is no worst thing that can happen. So start small. If you're afraid, just incorporate a little bit into your pizza dough and then see how that goes for you. And the next time, maybe put a little more. I also like to freeze my pulp if I have too much of it, especially the way Erica drinks that milk. And then when I need it, I pull it out ahead of time and I do something with it. So very easy, guys. And look how beautiful this pizza is. Really, really, really nice. So I'm going to say I love you. I'm going to make, Erica decided she wants pizza instead. So I'm going to make 2 small pizzas for me and Erica and a super huge tomato salad because we have it. So I'm going to say I love you guys. I'm going to say thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you for sitting there and listening to me ramble on half the time. But there is, behind all this madness, I'm trying to give somebody a lesson out of it. So thank you. I love you. And guess what? I'll see you in my next video.
For more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to Connie's RAWsome Kitchen, give it a thumbs up, and share it with your friends.